Okay, so at this point, we're going to be starting to talk about waking into a different dream. Have you had that experience before where you've been sleeping and you were having a dream? It's weird. We dream most of the time, but a lot of times we don't remember. That dream, dream. So, but now this time, that was some dream. Woo. It's like when you're in it, seems like kind of reality. But although it's in reality, there's still that little weird kind of feeling in it. Just like, what's going on in here? There's something. It's not really like what I'm expecting in my regular thoughts of reality. It's kind of there, but it's not really. Something's a little weird in here. So so now you're like okay, let this is a dream. Sometimes you actually, while you're in that dream state, you can you say within that dream, this is a dream. This is not the real reality. This is a dream. You actually gonna be able to decipher the fact that this is not reality. You're in a bed sleeping, and you're in a dream. You know. So you might try to wake yourself up. You're gonna try to do something to wake yourself up. You're like, I want to be in a dream. I want to wake myself up. So you do something to wake yourself up, and you're like, I mean, and just that alone shows you that there's another world out there. There's so many different levels of world and time and this and that. So this thing that I'm in now is that weird state of that dream, weird state. I need to get out of this because now that I know, especially now that I know what that it is, I'm kind of uncomfortable. I was not so familiar. I want to. I mean, it was fun. I mean, it wasn't so bad, but unless it was a nightmare, which but otherwise it wasn't so bad. But still, I got to get out of this. This is not really where I should be. So you try to turn you in the dream. You try to do things, and suddenly, boom, and suddenly you say, whew, and now you feel like you're different in a different state. You say, that's good. And then now you looking around, you trying to get around, and you say, wait a minute, it's still a little weird and carrying on. I thought that I had woke myself up, but no, I just actually just put myself in another state. I'm still trying to get through. I haven't made it out of the dream state yet. I was just like, and so now you're in that one. You say, oh my God, oh boy, this is really kind of crazy now. This drag, man. Let me. Can I please really just wake myself up to the real reality? Can I do that? I thought I'd done that, but no, it's not even there. It's not happening. So now you really shake. This is how we. When I real awake state, because you wake yourself up out of that next one, let's say, and then you say, now I can see that I'm really in the real awake state. So now you're in the real awake state. I've made sense of the world, in this real awake state. In this real awake state, I've made sense of the world. So now I'm cool. I don't have to. I know how I'm going to act, why I'm going to act. In the dream state, it was like kind of weird. You didn't know what was going to happen, what was going to go on. But this one, all the stuff that I've gone through, my experiences, everything, like they've coalesced to the fact that I know how to try to handle this state in the real state. You know, so serious. I'm serious enough. I've worked it. I've gotten wealth. I've gotten a good life. I've gotten children. I've gotten I've gotten all whatever I've gotten, and I'm in this kind of state, and I've decided how this life is going to be. I've figured it out. Everything now is in my correct perspective, and so thank you very much. Don't come to me with all this cover. Oh, are you really caring about people? And are you are you loving your brothers and your sisters and that of this human race? And are you giving enough? Are you compassionate? And and you're like, excuse me, you want to do that, you do it, but don't come to me trying to make me feel like some kind of guilty or anything, like run over the way I try to do things. You know, as far as I'm concerned, I've done what I needed to do to make myself secure. Sometimes I needed to be mean, and when I needed to be mean, I was mean. When I needed to be gangster, I was gangster. You know, and I, I avoided the consequences of being gangster by being more gangster. You know, so I really don't care about the other kind of stuff because that's my perspective, the way I'm doing it. Okay, so I'm worried about amassing my fortune, and you or anybody else is not helping me in the process of doing that, then you're kind of my enemy. Because the only thing I'm trying to think about is getting mine. Because that's what this world is about. How well I can get mine. It's very simple. Of course, that's the ego nature. That's the ego nature. I'm getting mine. When I get mine, everything else is going to come after that because mine, you know. Okay? Like I said, sometimes maybe I have to be gangster about it. Who else is going to care about me if I'm not caring about myself? To say, I'm going to make sure at all costs I'm going to get mine. That's the way it makes sense to most people. Understandably so. I mean, come out with the ego. I mean, what is it? Yeah, each individual springs up. Who knows where? They say, well, actually, it's compassion for everyone that means everything. Not how I can just get mine. No, it's more of a thing that compassion for everybody is how you really obtaining balance in your life, and you're helping attain the balance of the whole of the human society. Everything's around you. The lines that you're putting out are all going to be positive. They're going to be encompassing. They're going to be loving, caring, caressing to others. Fairness. Fairness is so important. All that you're putting out is going to be what you're putting out. Therefore, that by doing that, how could you really be taking away from the total well-being of of the planet and the human race and everything around you? It's hard for you to be considering yourself taking away from that. If you just selfishly, you want to be selfish in your opinion. You don't have to necessarily get taken away from anything, but some of the old movies have you watching them. These things they say, the things you're not helping because when you're that selfish road and you're just like grabbing for yourself and you don't care about anybody else, you're not. Doesn't mean you're the wrong person. You're still a person. You're just like you're a person. You're a person like everybody else is a person. But in the situation we're talking about, I don't really care about anybody. I'm gonna step on them. I'll destroy them. Whatever. I do anything. I don't really care. I mean, that's not my concern. That's why, like, people have those types of feelings. They come here on the plane with those types of feelings. And as I always try to put it in perspective, listen, we don't know what our past karma has been to make us like that. That's what was a work in progress, trying to straighten all that stuff out. So that might have happened in the past that we don't really know or remember. Like, still in all, we still have to straighten it out. Let me say, it's kind of mumbo jumbo when you. That's why I know that everything that I say is not going to really appeal to everybody. They're gonna, once I explain it, like, now, yes, now I see. That's not going to happen. I just think by explaining things that the way that I'm attempting to do it sort of um, gives a universality of the way that we can think and be on a level that's kind of a level playing field, more of a level playing field. I mean, more. I'm going for the unification of thought, the unified theory of everything. I've never heard this kind of things I've never heard this real perspective done yet. Not in the world, not the physics, not in the physics, Einstein and physics and nothing. No, not that. I'm talking about just thought in general. Thought, thought. I'm trying to say, if we are humans thinking in a similar way that are not hurting others with our thought forms, in a way, are trying to help each other, then evolution, as far as human evolution, and getting towards places where we would like to be, as far as like humanity goes, kind of like a utopia type of a way of living, because the thought forms that we've been putting out will start to number a lot more than the thought forms of people that are putting on who are just on the mundane level and thinking about themselves, about the ego, and that I don't care about this, and I just want, and I don't like that. So we want to get, yeah, they're not helping, they're helping the individual, but they're not helping the whole thing. So I'm saying that think of things in those terms, because if you just think of someone who's super rich, just super rich. It doesn't matter if they're rich or poor, you can help, but if it's super rich, just like Bill Gates, Elon Musk, and these guys, Bezos, and they get the thing, they don't have to pay taxes because they got people that, Oprah Winfrey, people they're there, that they're helping, trying to help people all the time, access to the panels and people that they got a lot and they're helping and trying to do their best. It doesn't make a difference that they have it or they don't. It's their intention. Their intention, like you can get the ones that have it and their intentions are just not that great, and the ones that have it and their intentions are the ones that are really good. Because the money's not all that important. It's your intention of what you do with what you have. You got people like Martin Luther King. Mother Teresa, people, Martin Luther King, he changed our whole nation of the United States. He changed the whole half of the nation into giving up a lot of the restrictive ways that they were acting towards other humans. Because I don't know how many minds he actually changed, but at least his effect on his effect on legislation made a tremendous difference in our nation. And, he wasn't rich. He wasn't all that rich. Rich man. He's very modest means because his intention wasn't about the riches. His intention, what his intention was, because every time you heard him speak, he would make sure you knew exactly what his intentions were. And that that oratory way that he had to do that made it spread. And then he gave him a holiday because he needed that holiday. He deserved that holiday. Jesus Christ wasn't rich. I mean, they say, he wasn't rich. He was like having the whole religion after him. Buddha was not rich. He could have been rich. He was destined to be a prince. But then one day he was sitting under a tree. And when he was sitting under there, something came to him, and it said, "I'm looking at these people that they look like they're really in dire straits, and I need to put my life into their lives and make things better for them." Then I mentioned Mother Teresa, and she give herself anything that she could possibly give. She would just give anything that she could do. Just go to places that when no one had anything, and just like said, "I'm going to give to these people." And then one time they interviewing her, she was asked, "Oh my goodness, Mother Teresa, you're such a saint. It's such a shame that you had to give your life over to never have anything, and just sacrificing everything, and you never had to be really comforted, running around to all these terrible places, and looking at you never have the comfort of your own, never have the caring of just sitting and having a husband and a family. You missed out on so much stuff." Mother Teresa said, "Excuse me, do you know how much joy there is in giving totally of yourself to others? Perhaps you don't realize it because you've never tried it and you've never experienced it." So that is the most joyful thing that you can possibly do with your life. You wake up with that joy that you're going to be able to do it again as much as you possibly can. There's no sacrifice. Sacrifice is the blessing. It's the blessing. You've been blessed that you have that gift. That it enables you to understand that joy from how much you can actually give of yourself. And of course, the interview, and many people like say, "Oh, okay. If you say so, if you say more power to you, you got it. That's how you do it. Okay, yeah, I hear you. You just sacrifice everything for what? And of course, yeah, it's not really so hard to understand how people are not really, they're not going to get that, they're not going to be willing to even consider something like that. It's like you know, I don't give everything that I have in my pocket. Like if I see somebody to the last morsel of my being or whatever, would do that. No, I mean I do recognize that I'm here for service. So every thought, every action should be of some kind of service. Service. How am I sharing? How am I sharing myself? Yeah, servant doesn't mean you're a slave. You gotta no, you're not a slave. You see, you have to understand that's the difference. First of all, it's your choice, and second of all, it means that your intention is to help. Any situation you see, anything you hear, you saying to yourself, "How can I help this?" To my ability, not you have to go overboard and everything like this. Don't have a dime in your pocket. You got to run and try to give it to somebody who has only a penny. Um, it, you have enough. You see somebody who needs something, and your automatic mind goes just like, I'm going to give this person something because they don't have it. And it's how your intention, how you feel about others when you're looking at them. When you're looking at them, I can do something for you. I'm definitely going to do that. No, I can do that. You know, that's a great feeling. That's the great feeling that we're talking about. It has nothing really to do with what you're going to get in return. However, if you're talking about um, states of karma or whatever, I'm not any lord of karma to know exactly if you do this, then that's going to happen, or if you do that, then this is going to happen. No, no, we don't have those abilities, But it just seems to me, in a logical, reasonable way of thinking about this, if you're putting great, great, good vibes out, and your mind is very, very riveted to the fact that you're going to put those wonderful vibes out, then we know every action gives a, a sort of a equal balancing reaction, and we can expect it doesn't have to happen instantly. No instant karma, or that we talk about. No, no, no. Somewhere in the great beyond, it's going out, and then some great beyond is going to bring it back. That's it. You're assisting that balance somewhere in that great beyond, in that great big puddle. When you drop the rock in, and that ripple goes out, and it gets to the edge of the wherever, and then it starts to come back somehow, sometime, and that just seems to be that you really don't have to think about it that much. Think about it, but you have a feeling about it. It's just a part of it. It's a part of you. Just make it a part of you. Martin Luther King wasn't rich, like we say, but he has a holiday named after him. So, David Rockefeller was super duper rich. One of the Rockefellers. Super duper rich, powerful, everything, man. He ran stuff, dictated stuff in the world, man. He like, Bilderbergs or whatever, all kind of stuff. But he's not going to have a holiday named after him because the vibe is kind of different in that case. See, it's not the vibe that that spurs on holidays. It's all conjecture on my point. I'm not, but still, not making statements that exact science. This is how it is. I mean, just adding things out. I'm just sharing. Saying this to say that. You know, um, Without the compassion that goes along with the power that you have, because we all have power, and there's so much information that we have now. Sometimes I'll be looking at my Facebook or whatever. I see childhood slavery, still parents killing their kids because they don't have enough to make it for the other kids, so they sell one of their kids or something like that. They'll sell a kid, just to get by, and then that kid goes into slavery, and then, oh my God, it's just, I mean, let's just, you can't look around the world and not see all this kind of stuff, situations of war, torn places, you know, tragic tragedies, just not terrible things that we do on our own behalf, like because of our own inhumanity to each other. Our own inhumanity to each other. It's just what we're doing it. I mean, not everything, but a lot of it. Not a lot of it. It's a lot of it. And then, oh, I'm going to just sit here. I can't bother myself with this. I can't. But you're sitting in a place. Imagine you're sitting in a place you have the wherewithal to feed yourself. You don't have. There's no one is putting food into the place that you are. No one's putting any kind of money. Why is that? There's no one putting any food or the water. You hardly can get it. So why is this happening in the world? Why is that what happening in the world? Well, I can't worry about that. Why am I worry about that? If I worry about that, I'm worrying about too much, man. Oh no, shoot! I got to worry about how to get my money, feed my family, make my family. So I'm never getting that kind of situation anywhere near that because I got to do what I'm doing. I'm sorry. Too bad. I'm so sorry. I'm too bad. Life is not fair. And so if I can get my life fair and the people who don't have their life fair, then that's not really my concern. But I better do everything I can to make my life fair. So that's how it usually goes. And yeah, I mean, you're not going to just change the whole world and have just no more suffering and having people having the ability to just hang and just feel like kumbaya, you know, alive and being in this world and everybody, you know, that have no misfortunes and everybody's there to take care of them. If something happens to you, they'll be running to your aid and then come and save you and just give it. This is the kind of utopia that we would love to just dream about. Not saying you might love to dream about it, but you think, I love to dream about that, but ain't no what happened. So I'm not gonna. Why am I thinking about that silliness? It's not necessarily silliness. It's our mindsets that that says to you that's impossible. That's just impossible. You can't. We're in a dream. We're in a dream anyway. We're in Like everything in this universe, it comes from a mindset. It comes from an ideation. It's a dream. But it's a dream that's made into action. It's a reality, but at the same time, it's a dream. It's like, it's kind of put in terms like that, but it's manifesting and manifesting things, and it's going to come out like that, come out of that dream. So If we want to wake up into another dream, we can do it on an individual basis. When I'm trying to make known, we can do it on an individual basis. Just going back to analogy of when we were sleeping and then we woke up and we didn't really wake up. We thought we woke up. And we said, oh, wait a minute, I wasn't really awake. It's still weird. So let me try to wake up again to the real reality. And so then we wake up and you finally say, okay, this is the real reality that I'm awake into. And I can tell the difference now than that dream world that I was in. So we can wake up even more than that. Yeah. So this real world that we think that we're in, we can wake up even more than that. We can wake up into a reality of the sleep of my enlightened actions, my lack of compassion. Those kinds of things are still with me. So why don't I try to wake up out of that? Wake some more. Some says, oh yeah, we call that, they call it born again, because I was born again, like Jesus woke me up, which better, whatever, my trials and tribulations a lot less, because I'm born again, and now the judgment of me is going to be much better. And some people, like Indian, they go through meditation and get the force of Kundalini comes from up their spine, and now they're like reawakened into something else. It's like, whoa, my goodness, woo! It was worth it for me doing all that meditation that I did. It's like everything now is so much more vivid. It's more understanding of what's going on around me now. Not less confusing. I can just see things in a lot better light. So we're trying to wake up into things like that. We're trying to wake up into a situation that's not as contradictory, not as mundane, not as contrary to just having life and yourself have you know wonderful thoughts most of the time. We would like to have that. But like I said, if everybody everybody can't have an Atlantis lamp and just rub it and just make things just come about. It's just the mindset that you have is the beauty that you can create. Because now you can understand things. So you can understand someone else a lot easier. That's important. You can understand groups of people a lot easier. That's a lot better. I can understand what's happening, wonder why things are going, and see how things are going, how they're going, because the unified way that I'm thinking now. It's a higher way of thinking. This doesn't involve like ego and I'm so right and they're so wrong and this is right and they're wrong and I've been indoctrinated with this and so therefore that's right wrong. No, that's not it. Instead, you can think it's such as religion. If someone has a practice that they have and they do and it's great. I've been exposed to a lot of different practices myself throughout my journey through spirituality, a lot of things, a lot of different kinds of religions. This one's nice. This one was nice. This one taught me a little bit. This one, yeah. I mean, if I hadn't done this, I would never know that. And so that's great. And then somebody would come like, you can, then now you're here, and somebody come right next to you and say, listen, um, that's good, I hear what you say, but if you practice this way, you're really more tapped into it. See, no, that person should be saying, that's beautiful what you just said about the way you're practicing. Now listen to my experience. This is great too. How do you like this? And then he said, I thought this was beautiful. So let me share this with you and let me know how beautiful I feel when I'm doing it this way. And let you know how gratified I am to talk to you about how you're doing it. And because now we have unified ourselves. We are starting to understand that we're just expressing our spiritual nature, our spiritual connectedness, and the way that we have been brought up and instructed on how to do that. So why are we going to now to try to feel like uh, you I don't know what and it's less than mine. It's not mine is superior. Yours is less. Yeah. Why would we do that? You see, this is why people talking about. Oh, I don't like people. I'm hating people. They don't like people. They hate people. Those things are easily recognized. You can recognize that about a person. I don't know your practice, but I mean, if you're talking about in your practice, you're hating people, or you're hurting people, or if you do this, if you don't do this the right way, then you deserve to get killed, or all kind of foolishness like this kind of things. Well, then you're like, oh no, I cannot abide by what you're saying with that. I can't, you know. But if somebody's talking about the total joy and ecstasy that they're feeling about what they're practicing, then that's beautiful. That's wonderful. Their life is beautiful. The same way that the guy says, I don't believe in anything. I'm agnostic, or I'm atheist, whatever. But my life is filled, and I feel my life feels rich, and I just don't feel like I need to be the gods and the things. But but so whatever discussion you have, Tim, about that, you say, okay, that's great. I feel personally important. You have to have some kind of spiritual connectedness because we are spiritual beings. But and the person says, I don't know about spiritual beings. I don't know about that. All I know is that I wake up in the morning. I'm so happy. I'm happy with my family. I'm so happy to plan on my day. I'm happy to. So that's great. That's wonderful. You're expressing it. You're still, to me, you're still expressing your spirituality. You're not going to say it the way that I feel like you. I'm still going to feel it that way, and I'm going to just be revel about how you're expressing your joy. That's your joy. That's your beautiful joy. That's so wonderful. I have joy. You have joy. Then we have big debate about no, that's not right because if you can't have it like that. There's no such thing. No, stop all of that. Yeah. Oh, how do you think all of that is not necessary? It's not necessary. No, I'm trying to share my explanation so that possibly it can help someone. If so, then I've done something that I really feel wonderful about. If not, then I still attempted. So where have I gone wrong? So you see, oh, my tape is stopped. Let me turn it over, and we're going to go into something. We're going to continue. Okay. Okay, continuing. When you keep in touch in this beautiful connectedness of life and everything, because there is that beauty and that joy in everything. So, so when you're getting into moods that are bringing you down, which of course they're not totally unavoidable since life, but you have something to hang on to. You have something to bring you back up. You have something to say that yes, that's that side of the coin that I'm on now. But that other side of the coin is so shiny still that even though it's not on that side, I still know how shiny it is. I still know how shiny that side is. So that's what is so relevant into understanding how to wake up into this type of thinking. Many people are like, yeah, well, I have to be suspicious of how people are going to be taking advantage of me. I'm not going to let them. I'm not going to let anybody take advantage of me. I have to be aware. I have to be, I have to be on point because you're going to come and try to take advantage. That's it. But every time you start to talk about these things in that negative way, you're pretty much talking them up into your reality, whether you realize it or not. I'm not saying don't worry about them without being aware at all. That doesn't make any sense. But you have to be alert and aware, of course. At the same time, you have to be conscious of the fact that there are many people that are out there to take advantage of you, do you harm if you're not paying attention by thievery or abusive of some kind. So yes, you have to make sure that you're aware of that, and treat that in a way that's also just okay. I understand that that it should be. You're not helping with anything in this world. You're doing that thing kind of stuff. But I'm going to have to accept that, dodge it, aware enough to step around it, get out of the way of it, escape if I need, whatever. Maybe at the time when I'm doing those maneuvers to not have it affect me, not throwing a word or two about why maybe another path, another way of thinking might be a bit better. I'm not saying anything that someone can say to someone who's already rooted in their own, usually I tend to say they're rooted in their own karmic characteristics, and those rooted karmic characteristics are hard to break out of. But we have to remember that that's our task. That's what we're here for. The lessons. The lessons. And we will do it. We can do it, and we will do it eventually. So get on the case. The sooner the better. Sooner the better. Wake up into that other reality where you can now know that this is what I'm doing now. I'm experiencing my joy. I am uplifting myself and everyone else around me. And I am making it better for my environment, my world, and my universe. My universe. My universe. That's right. See, that's what it is. It's my universe, your universe. It's ours. So let's make it better. Let's put those droplets, the little pebbles, into the pond that are beautiful pebbles, righteous pebbles, enlightened pebbles that are going to radiate out to the far edge of where they go and then come back to nourish everything as it's coming back. That's not rocket science. It's sensible if you just visualize it that way. It's not that hard. And you can understand the benefits of the all from that. It's like I said, it's just waking up. It's just waking up. It's just anything but just waking up into the understanding of how wonderful all of this type of thought process will just keep you elevated and keep you smiling, laughing, caring, full of compassion, giving, sharing, accepting. And that is, and most of all, being of service. Being of service of everything that's around you. Once you realize that you have everything, then you don't have to really be looking for anything. Things will come to you anyway. They will come. They'll come to you and they will enrich you and enrich your life even more. I always like to say, I wake up and I'm looking at this beautiful cake that I'm going to start eating and tasting. And anything that comes extra is the icing on the cake. So it's going to make it taste better. Yeah. So that doesn't mean that I'm not going to wake up to see the cake. That doesn't mean that I'm not going to wake up to taste the cakes, see the cake and smell the cake. And no, because that cake is there. It's just there baking. It's a beautiful cake. That's what we're waking up to. That beautiful cake. And okay, it's about time to end this chapter right here, right now. We're going into the next one. Because when the downhill slide down, we could speed it up, and everybody can have their joy. So our next chapter is talking about willing yourself into joy.